NaNoJouMo 2016 by Creative Katie. That's me, Karen Burchell. Take time to hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. So in NaNoJouMo, this is actually day 7, but I'm using the prompt from day 1, Up a Tree, which I never did use. So in front of me, I have a made journal that has kind of thick sketch paper in it that I put together. I took out of a coil sketchbook and I cut it and I punched it with my arc punch, and I put the disc system in the coils, and this allows for the extra space. So if you're not liking the coil bound things, this is an option that you can have. And I did a video a while back over the summer where I talked about using the Happy Planner for that purpose. So I'm going to put that in the iCard, and you can go check out that and you can see what I've done, and I plan on doing more of this. So right here, this is a jelly print that I created with my Gelli Arts jelly plate and a while back, and actually it was to get that design was the back of a plastic serving tray that I bought at the dollar store, or I got at the Good Neighbor store, thrift store. So I really love the colors of this, the gold, the yellow. You can't really see the gold in the orange and the mixture, and it just reminded me of all the lovely fall trees that I'm seeing, even though it is still November on the island. The trees are still very colored. The leaves are not all on the ground yet, so I'm thoroughly enjoying that, and so I thought I'd capture that and use the prompt, Up a Tree. So I had hole punched the jelly print as well with the arc system, and I just stored them in there. So this is ready to go. So this is a quick, easy way to get a journal project up and running. You don't have to start with creating the background all the time. Sometimes you can pick a background that you already have there, or pick an entire jelly print. For the longest time, I felt like this was like massive cheating. It's like, you know, because you just jumped ahead and makes the project relatively short. But that's what makes sense. When you don't have all the time in the world to do a journal page, do it in pieces. Do a bunch of backgrounds when you have time. Do the focal points when. So I have a stencil and a mask here that my friend Yvonne had cut with her Cricut machine a while back, just using some recycled vinyl from posters and stuff. So I had this tree, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make this, it's going to look lovely. So I'm kind of mixing black and blue. I don't want the sky to be just pitch black, and in retrospect, that was a great idea. I just wish I would put more blue. It still turned out a little bit more black than I would have liked. But I wanted that blue, again, because blue and the orange are complementary colors, and that was going to give me maximum bang for my buck. So I'm just using a makeup sponge and the paint, the acrylic craft paint here. Nothing fancy, and I'm just stamping. Now, if I had my spray adhesive accessible, I would have used that on the back of this mask. I find that's a great way of making sure it sticks down, and if you spray the spray adhesive and let it dry before you stick it down, you can remove it, and I find it doesn't damage the stencils, and it kind of comes off. And since I didn't have enough gold here, I decided that I needed some more gold. So it looks like I'm applying it with the back of a pencil, which is probably what I'm doing because that's what was handy. I'm just adding a little bit more shimmer. I need a little bit more oomph into the page. I'm now using the makeup sponge, and I'm just edging this with gold, again, to frame the picture. And then I'm spraying and watering down the acrylic paint, and I'm just going to splatter gold. I had, with what I had mixed it with, I actually had a little bit of black or blue in it, and it just kind of turned the color. So it wasn't quite the color, it wasn't a pure color anymore, so it kind of had to redo that. So here you go, splattering away. Fall is my most favorite season, I think. I've always loved the fall, and so this is kind of my tribute to that. Now I have a piece of crumpled brown paper that you can see I punched with the arc system, and I'm just putting that gold paint on there. This is going to show up some point later down the road. It's going to be something ready to go background for, or the start of a background for some other project. I try really hard not to waste paint. So I wondered what to put as a phrase or a quote. And I decided that I'm just going to put autumn love. I was going to put I love autumn, which is true, but I just decided that I'm just going to do autumn love. And I believe these are the letters, the Dilutions letters. I really love that font, so I think it was one of my first font stamp sets that I bought. And I'm just applying the paint, the acrylic paint, on the stamp with a makeup sponge, and I'm just stamping it on. I prefer using the acrylic paint to the ink pads. I find that you get a brighter color, especially when with mixed media on top of everything else. I'm just drying it before I go in and put the missing letter. And I'm sorry this is off screen, but I'm basically doing the same thing, stamping the word love down below to finish my phrase. So I position the letters where I want them, and then press it onto the acrylic block, and that way you get the spacing. One way though, if you want to save space, you don't have as much room, put them, stamp them separately, because you can get them a little bit closer. So I dig out my dollar store gel pen, the gold gel pen, and I go around it, and it's just the wrong shade of gold. It's not giving me enough poof for me. So I'd better use up this paint, so it's going on the same paper that the gold hat was on. I'm cleaning up. I'm not sure when I decide that this isn't going to be the gold that I like. I probably do the whole thing. And there I go. Gel pens, most gel pens are water soluble, so you can erase them, especially if your surface underneath is permanent, and acrylic paint is. So again, you need to know if all the layers underneath are permanent, so they're not going to smudge if you're going to wipe everything off, and to what your product is. And here I'm using the Sakura Jelly Roll pens, which I love. I got them for Christmas last year. I absolutely love them. They're a nice thickness, the gold and silver I've used, which shouldn't come as any surprise to any of you. And I'm just dating it. Then I decide I'm just going to go with that gold jelly roll in between all the little bits of sky that are showing through this massive fall tree. So it's really a simple page, but it's effective. And you know, I got inspiration. Yes, I'm using the prompt up a tree, but you get your inspiration from what's outside your door, the beautiful fall colors. And there's the page. Upcoming is some close-ups. There's my page, up a tree, autumn love. And some close-ups of the wonderful jelly print and the colors that were affected. And font. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on my journey. See you for the next NaNoJouMo.